President-elect Donald Trump and Doge head Elon Musk are spearheading an effort to kill the $100 million stopgap spending bill. Now, it had appeared on late Tuesday that congressional leaders struck a deal to avoid a shutdown that would begin tomorrow at midnight. The plan was led by the now wobbly Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Trump's BFF, Elon, began voicing his opposition on X as early as 4:15 a.m. on Wednesday, declaring that this bill should not pass. Later in the afternoon, he became more aggressive, writing, "Any member of the House or Senate who votes for this outrageous spending bill deserves to be voted out in 2 years."
But Musk wasn't done there. He called it one of the worst bills ever written and said shutting the government down was infinitely better than passing the bill. Quote, "The more I learn, the more obvious it becomes that this spending bill is a crime. It includes funding for the worst illegal censorship operation in the entire government, GEC." The serial entrepreneur's tirade seemingly paid off. He wrote, quote, "Your elected representatives have heard you, and now the terrible bill is dead. The voice of the people has triumphed." Trump and his VP pick J.D. Vance also jumped in on the action with a lengthy statement. Vance criticized the fact that the Congress allowed the country to hit the debt ceiling. Quote, "We should pass a streamlined spending bill," he wrote. "The only way to do that is with a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways combined with an increase in the debt ceiling."
Johnson went on defense. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight, and he said, "Look, I get it." He said, "We understand you're in an impossible position." Everybody knows that. Remember, guys, we still have just a razor-thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation. They said, "It's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending." I said, "Guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks, and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back with the America First agenda."
Well, Johnson has proven that he can count, but that appeal fell on deaf ears, and many on the Hill are wondering who's actually in charge. Bernie Sanders tweeted, "Democrats and Republicans spent months negotiating a bipartisan agreement to fund our government. The richest man on earth, President Elon Musk, doesn't like it. Will Republicans kiss the ring? Billionaires should not be allowed to run our government."
President-elect Donald Trump is now saying that any Republican who votes for the current package will face challengers in primaries. It's a Washington cliffhanger, the likes that pretend things to come. So here we are, and I have to say, I understand that Mike Johnson is in a somewhat difficult position because, as you pointed out when we discussed this earlier, the margin is very thin, and the Speaker is not wrong that Trump is taking office soon, and maybe we just continue it now and then look seriously what to do when we actually have our people in power everywhere. That's not the most ridiculous logic I've ever heard, but Republican primary voters, the conservatives in this country, want changes to what is being prioritized in terms of spending, and so to just blithely reauthorize everything is so, I would argue, out of touch. I know you got to make some compromises, but it's out of touch with what conservative voters who put these Republicans into office want. And I think, while I often appreciate what Bernie Sanders has to say on a variety of subjects, look, Elon Musk, he speaks for conservatives, and what he wants is what many, many, many Republican voters want. They want an end to reckless spending on all of these fronts. So it's not like conservatives want something and Elon Musk is forcing Trump to do the other thing. Elon Musk is reminding Trump and Republican leaders what their voters actually want.
Elon Musk is a spokesperson for the billionaire and multimillionaire class, first and foremost. He is an oligarch, and this is how he plans on making sure that they continue to fatten their pockets. With that being said, he has taken an oversized role as a non-elected. Nobody went to the ballot box in November and checked off a mark for Elon Musk. They didn't. But he is serving as the de facto president. He has a lot of weight when it comes to policy, has a lot of weight when it comes to Republicans, because quite frankly, the man spent over $200 million to ensure that certain Republicans got in office. And when you spend that much money, you expect a return on your investment. So we're seeing that happen right now. But in addition to that, I would argue it's very interesting to me that the Republicans, specifically those led by Donald Trump, are acting like the debt ceiling is the hugest deal from them now, when this is a guy who raised it nearly $7.8 trillion. This is a guy who had no problem tanking America's standing when it comes to our finances and our standing abroad. This is a guy who raised the debt twice as much as student loans, auto loans, housing loans of every individual in America combined. So since when did he become fiscally conservative? Because his record doesn't show that at all.
Isn't it? Go ahead.
It's frustrating because you have a guy who is a non-elected, in Elon Musk, who is in the ear of Donald Trump, not because he loves and is buddy-buddy with Donald Trump, but because he has contracts to gain off of this, because he has a strong standing not only with the United States, but also with other leaders across the globe, and he is able to wheel and deal however he wants. He's playing a game that I think Donald Trump doesn't even fully recognize. This man is doing what he has to do to increase the share of the billionaire class. That's who he cares about. And the average American voted not to have the government shut down. That's not popular whether you're in a red state, blue state.
No, we don't want the government shut down. I agree. We don't want the government to shut down. I mean, isn't it a comfort to people who think Trump is some dangerous fascist madman that you said Elon Musk is the actual president? I sort of agree. I think that's a good thing because Elon Musk is the most brilliant businessman who has ever lived and is creating technology to move us into space and green technology in terms of Tesla and is connecting internet all over the world and is innovating and doing all these great and wonderful, exciting things. Is it not? Why is this influence bad? Is I guess my question.
Well,
especially if you think Trump is crazy.
I don't agree with taking American tax dollars to enrich the wealthy, which is what we're seeing from Elon Musk as well.
How are we doing that? I don't agree with that either. I want to lower taxes across the board. I want to get rid of reckless spending so we can fix inflation and have things cost less. I want to change housing regulations so that we can build more stuff. I want to have more privatization of various education systems and all of those things. I want to make the government more efficient, more streamlined, and more in line with what the American people wanted, and that's what they voted for.
How does someone like Elon Musk, if we're going to say, President Elon Musk, which I do think at this point, hell, he's acting as de facto as he possibly can, but he's also somebody who has argued for changes in our healthcare system that would leave those who are middle class or working class high and dry. He has also argued for eradicating SNAP, food stamp benefits, which would leave those at or below the poverty line screwed and hungry. He has also advocated for the privatization, the overhaul of the very agencies and systems that protect individuals in need of workers' rights. And I think that there is a problem when these same people who were the working class, those are people who came out, are now being hoisted by this guy who is fundamentally fighting against the very values that they want to see in policy.
It's just we were sold when Joe Biden was running for re-election and was clearly incapable of continuing to be the president. I mean, he's ostensibly the president now, even though that's insane to me that we've just allowed someone who is mentally incapable of doing this job to continue to hold it at a time of global tension everywhere. Democrats were making excuses for him, saying, well, he's not, he's the figurehead, but there's all these smart, competent people actually running things behind the scenes. Why does that argument suddenly become invalid or scary or anti-democratic when it's the case on the Republican side?
Last time I checked for President Trump-elect, Elon Musk wouldn't be in his cabinet. That's Doge is a made-up situation that just got created.
I agree. It's not a real cabinet department.
So when we talk about the brain trust, we're typically talking about cabinet-level officials, people who actually had to pass Senate confirmation. Very different thing.
Although my friend Senator Rand Paul has pointed out, I just saw this on X, that the Speaker of the House does not have to be an actual member of the House of Representatives. It can be any American. I'm not even sure it has to be an American. It's just whoever the House of Representatives chooses. Don't quote me on that. It might have to be an American. I don't remember the exact provisions. But it can be anyone. It doesn't have to be an elected member of Congress or an elected member of the government. It could be your favorite guy, Elon Musk, could become Speaker of the House. That was what Rand Paul was suggesting. Yeah, I don't know that you have to be an American. I think it could be anyone.
I know that you definitely don't have to. This was government 101 back in the day. That you definitely do not have to be an elected official to be one. But I do believe you have to be an American citizen.
Yeah. Well, he's an American citizen. I think he wasn't born an American. But I think he is an American citizen. But I don't know that for sure. You can correct me in the comments if I am wrong about that. Tell us what you think. More Rising right after this.